a little bit of your emotion as you stood out there. And I'm just curious, when you first looked at the actual face on the plaque, you kind of laughed and smiled. Did it look like you? Do you like it? What did you think of yourself looking back at
nice.
yourself?
We were laughing because when Bernie had his, he had the big mole. When Jorge had his, he had the big ears. Andy had the big nose. So I was happy with mine. It's a great day. Like when I started talking, what do you say? I don't really know what you can say besides thank you. I've had this special relationship with the organization and the fans for years, and once again, I didn't want to prepare a speech because when I prepare speeches, if I forget part of it, none of it makes sense. So I just wanted to speak, and literally, I didn't know what to say besides thank you. So this is one of those special days that you'll never forget, and when you have this dream of playing baseball and playing for the Yankees, having your number retired is never part of it. So this is all icing on the cake for me.
Steve, back right, Derek.
Hi, Derek. Was there one thing that happened during the course of the night that surprised you or was particularly special?
It was all special. One thing I wanted to do is I didn't want to come here with any preconceived notions on how I may feel or what may happen. I just wanted to enjoy the entire moment. But, just being here the last few days and walking around or going to eat and, all the kind words that I've gotten from Yankee fans, it's just been a wonderful experience. I come back and forth to New York every once in a while, but I'm not here as often as I used to be. But every time I come back, the fans have been awesome, and especially these last few days.
Against the wall, Andrew.
Derek, what do you want to do next in your career?
Next in my career, this career is over, man.
Well,
That's about it.
In terms of your post-playing career.
What do I want to do next?
Yeah.
I'm trying to enjoy this. It took 3 questions to say what's next. I want to enjoy this. I have my family here. It doesn't get any more special than having your number retired by this organization. So I have interests, things that I've done since I've retired and things that I want to continue to do. But at this moment, I want to enjoy, the atmosphere at Yankee Stadium and enjoy this day.
We'll go to the left, Derek. We got this little group here that you recognize. Tyler.
Hey, guys.
Derek, when we would ask you during your career about something special that would happen, you would often say, it's not like you sit around thinking about that. I mean, you would say that a lot. You've had time since your career has ended to sit around, I assume, and think about things. So
You're saying I don't do anything? Just
No.
sit around and think about myself?
But now you have it. There's no more games. So when you look back on your career, what stands out as being the most special that maybe you didn't recognize as it was happening?
It's a good question. The thing that's most special, I think, is playing with one organization your entire career, because I quite frankly, I don't think that's going to happen too often anymore in this day and age of, free agencies and people switching teams and teams trying to stay younger, and there's so much player movement that I don't really think you're going to see guys, one, that play as long as maybe I did, but more importantly, that stay with one organization. Yeah, I think there'll be some, but I think it's very rare. So that's the thing that I've appreciated the most, because it's the only place I've ever wanted to play. And, when you're in it, you don't really think about it too much because you just come to work and do your job. But after I've retired, I've realized how special that's been.
Front row here.
Derek, you started your speech talking about the fact that this happened on Mother's Day. Talk about the significance of that, the role your mom and grandma and just your family in general has played in all of this.
Yeah, I got to choose, so I chose Mother's Day because that very special relationship, not only with my mother, but my entire family. I chose Mother's Day, and then first thing my dad said is, what are we going to do on Father's Day? But my mom especially has been very supportive, ever since I was younger, but not just playing baseball. It was anything that me or my sister wanted to do there. She was very supportive. So I thought it would be nice to, have this special day on Mother's Day to honor her and all that she's meant to not only my career, but and help shaping who I am today.
Brian.
Derek, how does retirement compare to what you thought it would be when you played your final game?
It's good, man. I don't have to go out there. I'm not cold out there in the field trying to play, worrying about if it's going to rain. It's retirement's been good. You know, I'm retired from playing, but it doesn't mean I'm just sitting at home not doing anything. You know, I think you find other things that you can compete in. You know, whether it's business or recreational sports, but you find something to do, and I think everyone has in their mind some idea of when you retire, you just sit at home and watch TV and don't do anything, but you got to find something to do. So retirement's been good. I've enjoyed it so far.
Mark.
Derek, you won a bunch of championships with a lot of the guys who were out there today, but when you think about retired numbers, you've always thought about guys like Ruth and Gehrig and DiMaggio. The fact that 5 of you from that late 90s team now have your numbers hanging out there, do you look back and think about how special that team was and maybe you didn't realize the greatness that was happening as it was happening?
I never took it for granted when we won. But like you said, having 5 people from that group is kind of hard to believe. When we were in it, you know, we used to constantly have conversations about it. You know, we never looked back at anything that we had accomplished. It was always, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And eventually nothing's next because you retire. But we all had those same mindsets, and that's why I think we had success, is we went out there day in and day out trying to win, trying to do anything we could to help the team, and more importantly, we tried to keep our jobs. So, yeah, looking back, it was a special time. It was a special period, I think, in Yankee history, and the fans never forget that, and that's what makes this organization so special.
Sweeney and Ron.
Derek,
Sweeney.
how you doing?
What's up?
You sat through a lot of these ceremonies already. You know, you've been a guest at them, and you've seen all your other friends go through this. When it's you out there, and they're all cheering for you, and they're all talking about you, how does that make you feel? Does your heart beat a little bit faster? Is it a different feeling for you just going through all that?
It is different. I was always the youngest, so I figured I'd be last, right? But, yeah, it is different. It's probably good that we were in center field and I couldn't see a lot of the things that were going on the scoreboard because I might have gotten emotional. But, you know, we were back there joking and having a good time with my family. And then when I got on the field, everything happened so quickly. But it's great when you hear words from, kind words from your peers, your teammates, people you played with, people you played against. It makes you feel good. You know, I think anyone that tells you any differently is lying to you. So it's a special day. I mean, even now, what do you say? I mean, number was retired by the Yankees. I mean, it's hard to believe.
Ron.
In one of the interviews the last few weeks, you said when you showed up for spring training in '97, there was a number 17.
Yeah, I might have screwed that up. It was '96, I think.
Oh, so for your first year.
Yeah.
And I think you had 74 your first spring training.
Spring training I was 70. I don't know, man. I might have been 75, 74, 73, somewhere up there.
Go through this. What happened with the switch in your mind from 17 to 2?
I don't know. You know, there's been rumors out there that Buck had suggested I get number 2. He's never told me that personally, but I've heard that he said it, and I appreciate it if he thought that much of me back then to give me number 2. And you know, I always wanted to wear my dad's number, but that number was taken, and I think people heard about that. So when I went to spring training in '96 is when I was supposed to be number 17, and then fortunately I convinced the clubhouse guy to give me number 2 back.
That was Nick?
Yes.
Clap to your right against the wall. Derek.
Listening to you now, and obviously what happened on the field, the ceremony on the field, how much you are still attached to the Yankees and how much they mean to you. Has it been conflicting at all to be financially to be part of a group that's trying to buy the Marlins?
That's a good way you phrase it, and just snuck on in there with that question, Clap. There's nothing to report on that, absolutely nothing. I think sometimes people get ahead of themselves, and there was a story people got way ahead of themselves a few weeks back, so there's nothing to report. If there's something to report, I'll let you know. I like the approach, though. I may be retired, but I still know how people try to sneak in there.
Bruce, right here, second row.
Derek, what did the responsibility of being the Yankees captain mean to you, and how did you embrace that responsibility?
I always looked at it as you had a responsibility to the organization, the fans, your teammates, the media. You had to handle yourself the right way, and you had to take the approach that every single day, whether it's the season or the off season, you're representing the New York Yankees, and I took that serious. And it's when the boss called and said he wanted to name me captain, it was probably one of the best days of my baseball career. And I took that role seriously, and I tried to set the tone for the rest of the guys, and I tried to do it in a professional manner.
Take a few more here in the middle to the left.
Hi,
there.
Hazel Sanchez from CBS. Obviously, you did a great job handling the challenges of being a Yankee. Are you ready for the challenges of being a dad?
No. I've prided myself in my career to be prepared at all times. Anytime I'm unprepared, it makes me uncomfortable. I'm unprepared. I mean, from everything people have told me, just do it and see what happens. People can give you advice, but until you're in it, you never really know what to expect. So I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm nervous.
Same area, two back, Eric.
Yeah, just following up on the Marlins. I know you said what you said, but your aspirations of being a team owner, just generally, what has attracted you about this particular opportunity?
I like that approach too. You said what you said, but there's nothing. There's no reason to even get into that now. This today is about the Yankees. If I see it another point, I'll answer those questions. But right now, it's about the Yankee organization.
To your right, standing up there.
Derek, any story behind the affinity for number 13 in the minor leagues?
My dad wore number 13 when he was playing at Fisk University in Tennessee. So at any point throughout my sports career, I always tried to get number 13. I wore it in the minor leagues quite a bit. And when I came here, Jim Leyritz had it. And you don't come up requesting numbers when you're 20 years old. So I took what they gave me.
Is there one more? Anybody else? Right here. All the way in the back. Great. Back right.
Derek, you just mentioned that being named captain was one of the most important memories of your career, and that was obviously off the field. Fans have been talking about their favorite memories on and off the field of your career. Do you have a favorite?
It's tough because it's a little unfair. I've said this before because it's the freshest memory I have, which is my last game at Yankee Stadium, which is ironic because it's the only game I've played here that didn't mean anything. But the way that the fans reacted and the relationship that I've had with them for 20 years, it felt as though it was a playoff-type atmosphere. And I feel selfish saying that because, like I said, we were eliminated. But, that was a special moment for me, and I'll never forget that last game.